Hello everybody, and welcome to my walkthrough of Bloodborne. In today's episode, episode number 9, we're going to be covering Byrgenwerth and the boss fight against Rom, the Vacuous Spider. If we have time, if the episode goes on the shorter side, might tackle some of the side objectives and side quests that we can do after we defeat Rom. Actually, before I talk to her, I'm going to pop one of these, because we can probably level up twice. So yeah, in the last episode, we finished off Forbidden Woods. And we killed the Shadows of Yharnam. Do this.
Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking.
Okay, so like I said, now we just need to progress. Go back to the Forbidden Grave, which is where we just fought the Shadows of Yharnam, and then we can go on to Byrgenwerth. So yeah, Byrgenwerth is a relatively small area. There's not really much going on there gameplay-wise. There's a fight with a hunter and 2 new enemies that we haven't fought yet. But that's basically it. Relatively small area, and then there's a boss fight at the end. So again, episode might go a bit on the shorter side, so might do some side stuff at the end. The first new enemy we encounter is this guy. He's going to do a leaping attack. Once we dodge that, we can just do a R1, L1, L1, L1. Just keep looping L1 over and over again until he dies. Or until you run out of stamina. Behind the statue or behind this tree, there is a madman's knowledge. And then just a little bit further, we have our lantern. And now we've arrived at Byrgenwerth. So, we want to go down this little hill here. And we want to dodge this guy. R1, L1, L1, L1. If you do get grabbed by that leaping attack, it won't do any damage to you, but it's going to fill up your frenzy bar. I guess I could show that off on the next one. We're going to wait till that one gets a little bit further. Don't want to fight them 2 at a time. Avoid that. R1, L1. Should be dead to this. There you go. This next one, like I said, I'm going to try to just show you guys what happens if you get grabbed. But basically, instead of taking damage, again, your frenzy bar is going to go up. And if your frenzy bar gets all the way filled up, basically you're going to take 75% of your max HP as damage. But once the enemy dies, then your frenzy bar will stop filling up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, works very similarly to Bleed from other Dark Souls games. There is a brain sucker on the other side of that tree, so if you have any fire paper, again, not necessary, just helps with this specific enemy. This one here too specifically, unfortunately I don't think can be backstabbed or, you know, sneak attack. Like if you notice, he's not looking at us, he's not looking at us, he's still not looking at us. Do a charge attack. Oh, never mind, I got him. So I think you have to hug that tree. If you decide to do that charge attack from like here, let's say, it won't connect. It'll, I think, hit the side of his character model, so you have to like really be hugging this tree and almost start your attack facing the tree. Don't be locked onto him to be able to do that, by the way. And then over here is the Arcane Lake rune. That's going to increase our arcane resistance by 7%, I think. It's an odd number if I'm not mistaken. Once we get close to this item, 2 enemies are going to drop down. As soon as they do, or as soon as we see one, we want to back away. There is another enemy all the way in the back there that's going to shoot fireballs at us. As you can see, he's trying to get real close to us, all the way in the back there. Oh, that was cute, guys. Whoa. They're really coordinated, huh? Alright, and now that big-ass thing over there, wherever it went. So, if you're too far from it, it's going to start shooting fireballs at you. Always just 2. 1, 2. Again, you'll see that animation start. Just get behind the pillar or anything, really. And then once you get up close to it, you shouldn't do that attack anymore. So you should be good to, hopefully, try to get to the side of it or behind it, if it'll allow you. Jesus Christ, this one's giving me a hard time. I would also recommend trying to kind of drag it into this open space here. Just because you could get kind of trapped against his body, pretty much. He can push you. Actually, believe it or not, he can't push you through the map. I mean, I guess if you want to skip to Rom, you can do that. It's not very replicatable, but anyways, as you can see, this enemy's not much of a challenge. It's just that once you get close to him, basically it's just a tank. It takes a lot of damage to kill it. Alright, and then over here, there is another one of those, I don't know, bug creature thingies. It's going to try to jump on us. Avoid that. L1, L1, L1. And then over here we have sedatives. Sedatives work pretty much the same as antidote does for poison, but it works for frenzy. So basically, if your frenzy bar is filling up, you put the sedatives in your quick use item slot, you use it, and it will deplete your frenzy bar. That shortcut, by the way, leads right back to our lantern. If you go just up these stairs, our lantern is right on top of there. So this is how you get back to the boss fight. Believe it or not, we're pretty much almost done with the area. We just have a few things to pick up, and like I said, there's a hunter fight at the very top of, on the next floor. Pearl Slug is a ritual item, which again we won't really be messing around with Chalice dungeons in this walkthrough. This is another shortcut. It's not very useful considering that we just opened the other one, but there's another shortcut here if you want to. Yeah, so this next hunter fight, really the only thing we have to look at, I mean, obviously it's a hunter fight, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult than your regular fight. But basically this one specifically has a Call Beyond, which is a arcane attack, very obvious audio and visual cue when it's going to happen. But basically you just want to make sure that you avoid that attack, just either dodge spam or just keep running around. Actually the railings from the staircase and all of these railings that are kind of surrounding the top layer there are going to kind of act as walls to help block some of the damage as well. And yeah, that's about it. Also, he has that. He has the Augur of Abritus, which is a melee arcane attack that he can do. He can get like a tentacle arm that comes out of him, and anyways, it's also kind of cool, I guess. Alright, dude. What? Where is that fucking... What the hell? No, not having any of that. There is a summon sign there also if you want for the boss fight after this. Oh, there you go. That's a Call Beyond. So again, as you saw, just keep sprinting. As you saw, one of the projectiles hit me and it did that much damage. So if you get hit by like 2 or 3 of them, you're definitely dead. Keep sprinting. Again, try to maybe also hug these railings when you're trying to avoid that attack. It probably will help out. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get up again. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, so like I was saying, there's a summon sign there if you want the help either for this fight or for the boss fight. Again, I don't really recommend it, but it's there if you want to use it. Over here is a piece of attire. And then real quick, we need to go up here to get the key to even open up the boss arena. So once you get to the top of the ladder, there's going to be the Lunarium key, which is how you open up the door to get to the boss fight. Further up, though, there is just another item we want to pick up. This guy over here, rush, dodge that, R1, L1, L1, L1. In this chest behind us, going to be the, I believe, the empty Phantasm Shell. Which is a arcane item. We need 15 arcane to use it, and it's going to basically buff our right-hand weapon with arcane. I forget how long the buff lasts for, but yeah. And that's honestly pretty much it. I'm going to open up the gate. Honestly, we're probably going to... Okay, so hear me out. We're going to go back to the dream so that I can level up, and then I might actually even... quit out of the game and just restart the recording after, because I might do a save state. The reason I'm saying that is because the next boss fight against Rom, I'm going to talk a little bit, just a few minutes here. So Rom normally, if you fight Rom, Rom will basically, if you do a certain amount of damage to Rom, to the boss will disappear and then reappear. When the boss reappears in a different location, the boss will spawn little like mobs, basically like smaller spiders to help it out. And basically, the Rom has three different times that it can teleport. So the first time when we start, when we start the boss encounter, there's going to be a first wave of enemies. Rom's going to disappear, reappear, another wave of enemies. Rom is going to disappear and reappear a third time, and then another wave of enemies, so three waves of enemies in total, and then we can finally kill Rom. There is actually a way, if you're doing enough damage and with wallpaper and stuff like that, and just maximizing DPS, you can actually one cycle. So basically, you can kill Rom without even letting her teleport at all. So again, we're going to go to the dream. We're going to level up, and then I'll see you guys basically when we come back to Byrgenwerth. And like I said, hopefully at the end of the episode, I can show you guys a clip of me one cycling Rom. Again, if you're following this walkthrough pretty much 1-to-1 and you're statted like we are, you should be able to replicate what I'm going to do and do a one cycle on Rom. So like I said, we're going to use a Bolt Hunter mark and just quickly go back to the dream and level up before the boss fight. Alright, so like I said, we're just going to level up and then go right back to fight Rom. Should be able to get my skill to do good stuff. Alright, so off to Byrgenwerth. So an important thing to know about Rom is if you don't plan on essentially killing Rom in one cycle, you actually kind of want to hold back a little bit if you're doing good damage. Basically what's going to happen is that, to put it kind of simply, is we're going to spawn in, hit Rom, enemies are going to spawn. We're going to clear the enemies, we're going to hit Rom until Rom disappears. Now Rom is going to disappear a total of 3 times, I think. 1, 2, actually no, twice. So we have to fight 3 waves of enemies, and then after we kill that 3rd wave of enemies, we can finally just focus on Rom pretty much unimpeded. Oh, I didn't realize he was following me. I guess I have to keep sprinting. And yeah, so like I said, if you're actually doing pretty decent damage at this point, I would actually kind of hold off just a little bit, and I'll kind of tell you when. But yeah, so pretty much when you cross through these doors, I really was hoping he wasn't going to follow me all the fucking way over here. What is this, man? Alright, this is Master Willem. This is the guy who founded Byrgenwerth, and he is still alive somehow. So yeah, we're going to fix that, and once we kill him, we actually do want to kill him because he drops the rune, and basically that's going to it's a rune that gives us more item discovery. Now I'm not exactly sure if that's you finding more items. So if you were to kill an enemy, let's say that drops 1 blood vial, usually you would get more, or if it works on basically a higher percentage chance of getting rare drops. I'm not exactly sure, but I know that that's pretty much one of those 2 things that rune does. And to get into the boss fight with Rom, we're going to just take a leap of faith into the ocean. So, like I said, Rom right now is, and honestly, Rom is pretty docile overall. The spiders that Rom is going to spawn are honestly kind of more dangerous. Rom only has really like 4 attacks that we need to look out for. One of them is when we're close to Rom, he might flail around. The other one is basically the one that Rom likes to use a lot, is he's going to look up at the sky and meteors are going to start falling from the sky. And then there's a few other fuck off attacks, as I like to call them, which is basically if you get too close to Rom, he's going to do a few arcane attacks that are just going to force you to back away and then go back in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So just hit Rom to start the boss fight. And like I said, we need to clear all of these spiders before even attempting to hit Rom, especially the first time, or on the first wave. So yeah, like I said, these spiders, as you noticed, their heads are like, they're like rock there. So if you hit them on the head, it does a very small amount of damage. But if you hit them on the body, that's how you kill them more reliably. So you actually do need to kind of get around them. And again, I recommend not locking on, because if you lock on, you have to walk all the way around them. And honestly, it just makes it a little bit more complicated. I feel like I heard something. That was weird. that attack right there, if that connects, it does an insane amount of damage. Like I said, these spiders are honestly more dangerous than Rom. I didn't realize that they dropped items. That's kind of crazy. I'm also learning, apparently. Oh, thought he'd be dead. Okay, so now, like I said, the first time that we start to hit Rom, if we're doing like pretty much too much damage, we kind of want to watch out. I would say you don't want to get Rom too close to halfway. Like maybe honestly around here is pretty good. Maybe a few more hits. I'll go for one more. That should be safe. Because basically what would happen is if we do too much damage, there's going to be a wave of enemies that's going to spawn where Rom would have originally spawned, and then Rom's going to actually spawn for the quote-unquote third time. And basically a third wave of enemies is going to spawn, so we're going to have to deal with two waves at once. It's never fun. So there you go. When Rom does that, just keep sprinting any direction to avoid those meteors. And basically, yeah, for the rest of the encounter, it's pretty much just going to be this. Killing a few spiders while watching what Rom does. Whenever Rom looks up at the sky, we start sprinting. Stamina management is kind of important because you obviously want to have stamina left to dodge just in case one of these spiders decides to jump at us or whatever. So like I said, because we're sprinting around so much, it's not a bad idea to like just sprint, stop, and basically just have some stamina left over in case you need to either start sprinting or if you need to dodge an attack. Keep sprinting. Where are you going? Keep sprinting. There's also kind of an audio cue whenever Rom does that attack, so if you're not looking at Rom, you can hear it. Oh, that's another one there. So when he curls up his tail up towards his head, I guess, he'll do like a arcane explosion. Just two more spiders left. I definitely recommend killing all of these spiders before even bothering to attack Rom, because you don't want to get snuck up on and pretty much one-shot. So again, when he curls up like that, he's going to do an explosion. Two attacks are actually very similar where he curls up like that. And one of them is like an arcane explosion like that. Another one is basically kind of the similar... No, that's still the explosion. 2, 3... One more? No, okay. Alright, and then this is the last time that Rom is going to teleport, so this is the last wave of enemies that we're going to have to deal with. Keep sprinting. As you can see, the meteors are just coming down from the sky. Why are they all bunching up? I'm trying to get them to not bunch up. Let's see if I'm gonna get a little greedy here. Okay. Surprised, there you go, that's the other attack. If he rolls on his back, just back away because that will happen. The meteors will start to come from the ground instead of from the sky. So yeah, when Rom rolls like that, it's gonna meteors from the ground around him. When Rom just curls up like a U shape without rolling, like that, it's an explosion. And then when Rom looks up at the sky, just keep sprinting to dodge the meteors. That's pretty much it. And then like I said, I think in this last little phase here, once we're within melee range to Rom, Rom might start kind of flailing around once he takes a certain amount of damage, and that can also hurt us. And we are almost there. I think I'm actually going to equip my fire paper now, just to do a little bit more damage. Oh, perfect. And then there you go. Hopefully we can just finish Rom off right now. And that's what I was talking about, that flail right there. Jeez Louise. Alright, we should be good to end it. Boom, boom. And that's it. So yeah, like I said, overall not overly complicated, just time consuming. Honestly, patience. Another one of those fights where just patience is probably the most important thing. So once we're done and we killed Rom, I'm sure you've noticed there's no lantern anywhere. So to actually progress with the game, we need to interact with Queen Yarnum. When we spawn in, we're going to spawn into a kind of a new area. So basically what we're going to do is, like I said, I think we will have time. We're going to spawn into the new area. Going to find the lantern real quick, go back to the dream, level up, and then we're going to tidy up a few things before we end the video. So when you interact with Queen Yarnum, we'll get a cutscene that we can skip. And like I said, we're going to spawn into a new area. So when we're going to spawn in, we're just going to run right through the door. Again, we just want to get to the lantern as quick as possible. Avoid that. Keep going. Alright, when we get here, there's going to be some enemies that are going to materialize out of nowhere. Those are the Bell Maidens. So basically, in this area, we're going to have to kill a few Bell Maidens, and until we kill them, they're just going to keep endlessly respawning those basic enemies. So yeah, this next part, next area is very annoying. Probably my one of my least favorites in the entire game. So here's our lantern. Return to the dream. And like I said, we're going to level up, and we have a few things that we could tidy up before we end the episode. So like I said, after you kill Ramen, you get that cutscene. It's almost like what happened after Vicar Amelia. We've essentially entered a new chapter of the game now, so more things are kind of available to us to do when it pertains to like side quests and progressing those kinds of things. So I'm just going to, I might actually have enough to level up again. I might do that, consume all of my my cold blood dues and all of that stuff that I haven't really been doing yet. We got level 3. Actually, I might not have enough. Oh no, yeah, we have a 12 here, duh. It's like 20,000 right there.
Welcome. What is it?
Actually, that was a whole level. We might have enough to do it again. Actually, no. Actually, I'll save him. Either way, I'll save him. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is, actually, real quick, make sure in your inventory, make sure you have poison knives, as many as you can carry, and same thing with bone marrow ash. So, honestly, out of all of the ones we picked up throughout the game so far, and if you haven't really been using them, you should have a lot of poison knives. I would keep all 20 on you. If you don't have 20, just go to your storage and pick up 20. And then same thing with bone marrow ash. Pick up as much as you can carry, which is 10. Side note, if you need bone marrow ash, you can go buy some from the messenger bath. Unfortunately, we can't buy poison knives. Not quite yet. So the first thing we want to do, the first side quest, if you guys remember at the very, very start of the walkthrough in Central Yarnum, we talked to a guy called Gilbert. I talked to him at his window right next to the lantern. So now that the blood moon has risen in the world of Bloodborne, Gilbert is going to be transformed into a beast. And once we kill the now transformed Gilbert, you see, broke out of his apartment. He's actually going to give us a really good rune, which is the clawmark rune, which is going to give us 20% more damage on visceral attacks. And I'm actually going to equip that, and probably the anti-clockwise metamorphosis when we get to the dream, because I forgot to do that once we got out of Forbidden Woods. So real quick, before we go do the last thing, I do not want, I definitely don't want that. So give me the anti-clockwise. And then this, I don't really need more blood echoes, so we're going to go into clawmark. So again, visceral attacks now do 20% more damage. So visceral attacks are already very strong. We can make them even stronger. The last little thing we want to do, there's two things we can do actually in Cathedral Ward. So we're going to go back to Cathedral Ward. So the first thing we want to do is actually get a few things. I don't think we actually get much here. But honestly, I'm just kind of, I mean, it's right at the spawn room, so I'm just kind of checking in just to make sure that all of our NPCs are behaving as they should. This one here. Oh, I'm actually forgetting one. I just realized that I forgot an NPC in Forbidden Woods. I think we'll be able to cover that in the next episode. I don't think it's too late to go grab him and go recruit him. And yeah, as you can see, I think it's this NPC here. Right now, yeah, she's gonna ask us, "Are we sure I have woes to share?" And she's gonna give us sedatives, or just one. So nothing too important for now, but I think the next time, like I said, I actually kind of forgot an NPC, which isn't a horrible thing. We do have to go back to Forbidden Woods in the next episode anyways. So I guess there's just another thing to add to the list. There's an NPC that I forgot that we can recruit for for this area. So after that, we actually want to go back to the Vicar Amelia boss room. And this is where the bone marrow ash and the poison knives are going to come in handy. So the next encounter, once we get to the boss arena, we're going to notice that Eileen is going to be at the top of the stairs, and she's going to be basically almost dead because she just tried to fight the Bloody Crow of Cainhurst. So basically that is a hunter fight. I'm not exaggerating when I say that the fight with the Bloody Crow of Cainhurst is probably the most bullshit and the most annoying encounter in the entire game. It trumps any other hunter fight, any other boss, in my opinion. Honestly, I would rather fight the Orphan of Cause over and over again than have to fight it's not even really fun. The reason why I say that is because his gun mainly is the big thing right now. At least for me, the gun is very annoying. Not only does it do an insane, like basically he's got like what seems to be a regular pistol like us. Like there's nothing super special about it, but it does an insane amount of damage. And I think he might be hacking because he also has like a cheat code where he can essentially parry you pretty much for free. I've had it happen to me a lot of times where I was just in the middle of healing, like literally just using a healing potion or a blood vial, and he hit me with his gun and it parried me. So I really don't like dealing with him at all. Call it a skill issue, call it whatever you want. I don't like dealing with it. But he does give a very good reward. You might be asking, why do I even want to fight this guy? Because he gives one of the best, if not the best, Covenant rune. So these like blue runes here, he gives one that increases your stamina regeneration speed just passively, which is amazing. So again, we're going to cheese him. I do not want to fight him. So what we're going to do is we're going to equip our poison knives, and we're going to equip our bone marrow ash. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to use our poison knives to poison him so that he passively takes damage, and then our bone marrow ash to basically spam bullets at him and make him take more damage from that. He does heal. He has one blood vial apparently because he heals once during this whole encounter. So what I usually like to do is whittle him down with the poison knives and 5 bone marrow ash. Wait for him to use his heal, and then on that last heal, after he used his heal, then you can use your last 5 bone marrow ash and honestly just keep spamming bullets until he dies. So what I'm probably going to do is, I'll talk a little bit at the start of the encounter, or at the start, just to show you guys what I'm doing and how we'll be cheesing him. And after that, I'm probably just going to mute and then just fast forward the footage in post, just because it's going to take a good amount of time for him to actually croak. So once you get close enough, he'll aggro onto us. And once he starts running at you, you want to sprint, because as you can see, he's pretty fast. Sprint all the way back down the stairs. Eventually, once he gets to a certain point, he's going to do an attack. Or not. And as soon as you see him start to go up the stairs, or not, he's going to keep going. Alright, cool. So as long as he's walking, you should be safe to throw your poison knives at him. And especially now, when he starts to walk up, like slow walk up the stairs like this, you're pretty safe until he gets all the way back to the top. So just bone marrow ash, and just keep doing that. Again, I want to do it 5 times. And when I have 5 bone marrow ash left, you want to stop. Because again, he will heal up. Also, he does use a shikage, which is a weapon, a katana, that he basically imbues with his own blood. So if he does, I kind of like to stick around this range, even when he's walking up the stairs. Basically because there's a chance that he might actually aggro onto you again and then pull out his shikage. And then he's going to take even more passive damage from the bleed that he's inflicting on himself. Again, oh, just like that. So now he's taking passive damage from his own weapon, and now we can poison him on top of that. 2, 3. And now he's taking even more passive damage, which is phenomenal for us. So he should be healing up fairly soon. There's his heal. And a quick little side note, this is the only time in this walkthrough that we will be cheesing someone to this extent. Like I said, I almost do this all the time in my own personal playthroughs. So I don't expect a kind of casual player or someone who's been struggling with this game to want to kind of tough this out for hours and hours just to die to essentially an NPC. So like I said, I definitely recommend that if you're a struggling player, try your hand at it a few times if you want, but once you see how bullshit this encounter is, you're going to see why I usually do this. He's going to drop the Blood Rapture, the Blood Rapture, rune, my god, my brain was derping. Eileen is the one that's going to drop you the Hunter rune, or the Covenant rune, and then also the Crow Hunter badge, which means that we can now buy the Blades of Mercy, which is the weapon that she uses, and we can also buy her attire, so we can cosplay as Eileen, which is pretty cool. But yeah, also if you want, I almost never do this, but you can totally finish off Eileen. You don't get any more rewards for it, you get 5,000 blood echoes. I usually feel really bad about doing that, so... but yeah, so like I said, I'm gonna call it for this episode, but just to show you guys real quick, the reason why we endured all that, first of all, you get the Blood Rapture, which gives you, basically heals you. Whenever you do a visceral attack, you'll get healed by 300 HP. But then the main one is probably, again, one of my favorite runes in the game, is the Hunter, the Hunter of Hunters Covenant rune, and that's going to increase our stamina recovery speed. So again, I will hopefully see you guys in the next episode. In the next episode, I'm trying to think, what are we doing? Yeah, probably Yargul, the first half of the Unseen Village. But before we do that, again, we have a few things in Forbidden Woods that we need to go tidy up. And yeah, we'll tackle that in the next episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and hopefully I see you guys in the next episode. Have a good day, guys. So for the ROM 1 cycle, if you're curious, again, I don't really recommend this if you're struggling with a game or if you're a beginner, but if you're curious, when you get into the boss arena, use your Beast Blood Pellet and then either fire or bolt paper. And then when you're clearing out these spiders, try to kind of hurry up and do it relatively quickly. While you're doing so, you're going to be doing R1 L1s on them. As you can see, when you hit the L1, like the second part of that attack, it fills up your beast meter quite significantly. So by the time you get to ROM, hopefully you're about 75 to 100% full like we are now. When you get to ROM, R1, L1, ROM will stagger back. R1, L1, ROM will stagger again. 3 R1 attacks, ROM will then start to teleport, do a charged R2 attack, and then you could just pretty much wail away on ROM, hopefully before ROM teleports away. And there you go. That is the 1 cycle. Hopefully you guys enjoyed.